you think about Jesus Christ cursing the tree that bear no fruit, many times people have mixed emotions towards that, or just have no idea what that really means. But in a metaphysical, practical sense, that was literally an example or a mirror example of what exactly the universe, or if you want to call it God, the universe does to anything that is no longer producing or progressing or changing or evolving, right? Because our job on earth is many things, honestly, and some guys can have more, you guys can have even more ideas of what our, essence or purpose on earth is, but I would say is to remember, to experience, to multiply, to be fruitful and to multiply, and to be, but also to master, right? So many things like in that realm, right? So when it comes to like growing and changing, it's in the midst of all those things, right? Because when you remember, you're no longer like seeing yourself as you were before. When you are experiencing your experience, like because of what you experience, you are always evolving. So everything is about change, right? So our job, or at least a part of our being on earth, is to always evolve and to change until we get to a certain level of mastery. We're never going to become full masters, right? So as your job, it is as it is your job on earth to change every single time. Imagine that a tree now that was created, right, to evolve from a little seed to a little tree to a tree that bears fruit, and you're not doing that. That is malfunctioning, right? And when you think about even the story when it comes to the man with talents, the other guy was tossed outside, kind of like symbolic of like hell, or symbolic of kind of like existential death, or I guess kind of like soul death. He failed to grow and change and to multiply because he was afraid, right? And he wanted to stay in that place that he was comfortable at. So when you think about us as like creatures of habit, so many times we tend to lock into something that we're so comfortable and familiar with, and we want to keep that routine going on for as long as possible because we're afraid of change, and we love security and we love familiarity, right? So sometimes God, in his benevolent, loving, parenting essence, right, or his being, he has to kind of like remove some things out of our lives that no longer serves a purpose, right? Why? To create a space for things that are better, right? Why am I saying all of this? Is because when you think about things and people and opportunities that you lost and that no longer are a part of your life, you think that you've lost something great, even though like sometimes it might be the case, like it might be the case, but guess what? Now there's always a space now for even greater, right? It might be your fault, right? But everything that happens, I believe, happens for a reason, for a season. So when you lose something out in your life that you think is the best thing that ever happened to you, just remind yourself with this philosophy and this ideology that sometimes when you do lose things, that they're removing themselves, as the law of life says it. Like this gives you such a beautiful perspective. And like I said, my hope and joy in life is to always learn the word of God and always learn how to strip it down in a way that is not only practical, but you see the actual seed and the nugget in there where there's actual power in it, right? So when you think about that too, this gives you so much power when you think about, oh, okay, so this is a very painful experience right now for me to lose this thing or this person, this opportunity, but I have to also like remind myself I can experience it. I can feel this. I can accept this feeling right now, but I'm not accepting like this is my condition. It's like I'm accepting that everything is meant to evolve and to change. So even death itself is a form of evolution. That's so crazy to think about. Like death itself is a form of evolution. That's crazy to think about. I have to sit back. I feel like I don't know if that was like the Spirit just put that into my head or just kind of just rambling that kind of gave me that little perspective. But death in of itself is a form of evolution, right? And you know me. If you know me, you know that I care and I love the yin and yang, right? Because that just shows the balance and there's just the equation of life, that everything is about light and darkness, about death and birth and this and that, right? So like when things move and things die out, even when you think about plants and you think about the seasons, when things die out in seasons, new things come back. They're making way for newer things to come into season, and it's so beautiful. So when you think about what you lost, like just remind yourself that everything has a season. And I was just making a content about the same topic about, it's just crazy how everything in life is a beautiful web. But you think about this, I want you to just let this like be stuck with you, that when God removes things, or when things leave you, or when you lose opportunities and lose things in life, sometimes it's God's way of making space for even better things in life. Like, there's so many ways I can go right now and to make this fact known to you, but I'm gonna stop right here without going too crazy. But you have to remind yourself, this gives you an amazing perspective on life, that when things leave your life, it is God's way of purging what no longer serves a purpose. And because we are creatures of habit, sometimes we tend to hold on to things. So when you are going through something, when you feel like you're afraid, I go through that as well. Like, when I have to integrate a new habit into my routine that's going to make me uncomfortable for a few seasons, I sometimes procrastinate because I want to hold on to that thing that no longer serves a purpose for me. But when I think about the fact that that's so crazy how I just got into preacher mode. That's so weird. That's so crazy. But let's get back to the topic. Like, you have to accept this is the order of life. And when you accept this, pain becomes obsolete when it comes to your progress and your growth and your journey. You get to experience things, but you don't let things define you. That I know that thing was very beautiful for that season. Or matter of fact, how did Apostle A$AP Rocky say it? Sometimes I even stop the smoking when it's time to focus. I had that line was stuck with me for so long, because I knew when it was time for me to give up smoking, because I knew that I was being called into a higher existence or higher experience. I didn't want to go through. My soul wanted to get to that, but my flesh wanted to stay complacent. So it was like that line. What's the line that J. Cole said? What's the line that McCrae said? Like, when it's time to go, everything in life starts to remind you it's time to go, and you can tell that. So when that is starting to happen, tell yourself, I give way for whatever no longer serves a purpose, and I'm gonna keep that in my head. Something that shouldn't be said out loud until it's done. I'm going to give way for whatever no longer serves a purpose for me in this coming season, and I'm going to open myself up for whatever it is that God is bringing into my life right now for a reason, or for a season, or for experience, or for learning purposes. Whatever it is God is bringing into my life for whatever purpose, I'm opening myself up right now to both release and to receive it. This is an amazing affirmation, because it opens you up from the tension. It frees up so much tension, and even though a part of you will still be fighting to always still hold on to that thing you're familiar with, you're going to give more freeway now to the Holy Spirit now to start releasing those things and to start making way for things that are more beneficial for you. This is just a beautiful way that everything just flows together. Everything literally is everything. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to think that everything is everything, that everything flows into everything. I can't put it, like, if you know, this is for my tribe alone. If you are a noisy person, you're a noise maker, you know what I mean. You understand the idea of the higher knowledge of things. I don't want to make it something I'm just speaking in terms that I don't even sometimes even, I'm just expressing what's in the soul and the spirit right now. So like, when I say everything is everything, you saw how just things started connecting the dot when it comes to, God and the order of things, the universe, the order of things, nature and the order of things, Christ cursing the fig tree and the order of things, you losing things that's important to you in the order of things, yin and yang and the balance of life in the order of things. Everything has an order. My friend, shout out to Dope Zulu, right? Or let me just call an acquaintance of mine, right? Dope Zulu, at some point, I don't know if he even like thought about it like this, but he was spitting so much like wisdom into me at some point, like just nonchalantly. And he was talking about, like, I think a friend of ours had a car that we were driving to a video shoot, my video shoot actually, and we were about to be done, and the car had an issue, and so we had to call a tow truck, and the friend of ours was kind of very, very like distraught, right? And so like Dope Zulu just very, very like still like, if you know him, like he's very, very fast talking. Sometimes he's like just in emotion. He's like me a little bit too. So like he's just talking like, yeah, okay, we're gonna call a tow truck. It's like, bro, and then he's like, he turns to the guy like, yo, bro, calm down, like just like understand this is all part of it. Like, but he's looking around, just talking to you, just saying out loud. But he's saying like, yo, like this is what happens. I'm always preparing myself for like the seasons. I'm always aware when things start going bad. I'm preparing myself like I know this is a season. This is what's supposed to happen. There's always gonna be a dry season. There's always gonna be a rainy season. So like I'm going through that season right now. I'm sorry if I'm looking down too much, but he's saying like I'm always preparing myself for these seasons, because when these seasons come, I know that okay, I have to go through this. I have to go through, like, we call it our Gari season. In back in Liberia, we call it Gari season. What does it mean? If you know what Gari means, it's like this, like kind of like grain that we eat, and it's like when you're eating that means just like times are hard. You ain't got nothing, you ain't got money to even buy rice. So like when we're going through our Gari season, like prepare yourself, like embrace that gari season. Put your little sugar on the gari. Put your little coconut and cut it up and put it there. Put your little small milk if you can find milk. Put your water on that thing. Put small ice in that joint, ice cubes. Enjoy. That means you're going through the season of lack a little bit, but there's always going to be a time where you're going to go through your rainy season where you have jollof rice and your chicken and you can eat it. And he was pretty much just saying it in that term, and that just stuck with me because that's really just also relates to this topic. Like everything is everything, which means that everything has its season and its order, and it might seem chaotic to you, but it's all part of God's divine ordering and divine direction of things. Once you know about how the seasons work and how things play out, you're going to be more aligned with even the things that are like that feel unfortunate, because you know that they all play along, that everything works together. Look at that part too. Everything works together for the good of those who are called according to God and who love the Lord and who are called to. I don't even know the scripture, but you know what I'm saying. But that's how like everything works together for the good. It's just amazing to see that. So I'm just telling you right now, when you do lose things in life, when you lose things in your life, and you feel like it's the end of the world, remind yourself that everything happens for a reason and for a season, and also that God might just be creating space for even greater things for you, because that is the law of life, the law of nature, the law of the universe, the law of God himself. He said that everything has a season under the sun. The only thing you need to do is prepare yourself for that season and thank him in the middle of that season, good or bad. Thank him in every season. I hope this blesses you guys. I don't have much to say. I'm just in that spirit right now. I talk very fast when I'm excited about something. So I just want to tell you guys, just have a blessed day. I hope this kind of bless you guys as well. So I hope you guys also think about, what it is in your life that you're holding on to that needs to be purged. I'm gonna leave on that note. Stay blessed and stay noisy.